right, I think we are about live here. Just kind of jumping right into it today. No time to get started, so I'm sure as we're going along here, we'll get more people joining. All right, well, welcome back to another Tanares video here with Flanks06. Today we are covering something a little different than necessarily what we've covered in the last couple of videos. So today we're going to be talking about a Heroes Compendium. So I know there's a lot of new people to the game. And you know, people coming from RPGs and everything else. So I figured it'd probably be good to talk about a Heroes Compendium, especially as we're getting pretty close now to the game finally arriving in backers' hands. We're getting real close now. So let's talk about what the Heroes Compendium is, and then we'll kind of go from there. So Heroes Compendium is a book. Well, it's a digital book. It never actually was included in any of the Arena the Contest material or Legendary Box or anything like that, even from the first Kickstarter. But it was a digital item that Dragori created and gave out to backers, I think slightly after the Arena of the Contest first came out. And it was just offered online, so you had to kind of just find it yourself. Might have been in an update. I'm actually not sure about that now. But anyway, the compendium here is useful because for people that have played Arena of the Contest, they know that, well, now including the Dragon Collection, there is 31 heroes in the game. So there is a lot of heroes to, you know, essentially play in the game, and it's hard to decide, well, what's the difference between each of those characters. So this is the intent of this book, to help guide you into knowing what the differences are in each of the heroes. Hey Jason, good to see you here. Welcome back. All right, so let's just jump in here at the beginning, and we're not going to spend a ton of time on this. I just want to give you guys especially for people that have never seen this before, get that chance to understand what it is, and then we'll move on from there. So the Heroes Compendium broken up into the different classes. First class here, the original four: Count Blake the Vampire, Morlo the Minotaur, Qatar the Barbarian, Cedric the Werewolf, and then it says, prepare for a quick death. Nothing can stand against my mighty strength. Okay, somebody created that, I guess. And then, okay, so here we go. The first hero, Qatar the Barbarian. You see his artwork, his original miniature sculpt in the way that, like, it was the digital version of it. Obviously not the final thing. And then you see this little description about him: an efficient brute at dealing damage because he can make attacks that are more likely to hit an enemy, ideal for those who want to deal large amounts of damage and not worry about complex strategies. And then it lists his attacks there: Mighty Blow, Berserker Strike, Barbaric Rage, and Whirlwind. Anyway, by the way, if you guys are struggling to see this at all on the stream, make sure to let me know, and I will try to fix that for you. Okay, so down here you'll see this stat system. It says offense, defense, mobility, effects, and handling. Offense is just generally, well, I guess this is kind of a good point. One is this file never actually describes what each stat is or how they came to the conclusion on building these stats. This is just Dragori's interpretation of it. So the offense stat here what went up from 6, basically. All the characters have 1 to 6 is pretty much the scaling. There's nobody that has like less than, you know, 1 on here. And that's, you know, true through the whole thing. So you'll see offense, right? Max offense. He's got a 2 to defense, 4 to mobility, 1 to effects, and then a max of handling. So just kind of going through it. Offense, basically how much damage can this character put out. Brutes often do put out pretty much the most consistent damage. Their kind of trade-off is that they don't have they usually don't have defense, and they don't have a lot of effects or other things that can help them get to their target. So they're really reliant on just doing out that high amount of damage and kind of being out on their own. Defense, basically how much types of abilities that maybe reduce the amount of damage, or in this case, I think they actually include the HP of this character in calculating their defense. Mobility, how much that character can move around the map through different abilities or their own character stats. Effects would be things like conditions, protected, exposed, that kind of stuff, or at least that's my interpretation of it. And then handling is basically another way of saying how easy, basically how easy it is to use this character. So in this one, it's max handling because he is the easiest character to use. So we'll just look real quick example. So for Qatar here, right, Mighty Blow, he's got, some stuff to basically increase his chance to hit. He's got both of his abilities do a ton of damage. He can put exposed on somebody, can move somebody, and then basically he's just doing damage, or he can move and do some damage. And then, like all brutes, 65 hit points, 8 base attack, 6 defense, 6 move. Okay. Anyway, that's kind of giving you the idea. So he does have a lot of damage there. Brutes, Qatar, very simple. So that's the general idea. And as you go through, right, you can see all the different characters. So we have all the brutes and what they're kind of good at. Then it jumps to tacticians. We go through all the tacticians, and they all kind of vary in their own ways. Anyway, point is that's Heroes Compendium, what I'm calling 1.0. So what you're all here for is Heroes Compendium 2.0, which is basically our next interpretation of this digital file. So this, again, will be a digital file. It won't be something that is included in any of the game boxes. You'll have to download it either through a website or through Discord or something like that. It'll definitely be available in Discord, and we'll probably spread it around in other social media once we complete it. But this book here actually contains, I think it is just 28. I think it's 28 heroes. Because it's all the classes, but it doesn't include any of the specials. So it's kind of limited, and like I said, there's nothing that describes any of these stats, so it's kind of hard to determine what exactly they were thinking when they did that. And then there's this section where it talks about, the different ideal teams, and then just labels their attack names. But a lot of that's not really super helpful in figuring out your team. So a Heroes Compendium 2.0. And trust me, we're still very not close to finishing this. But one task that I have been working on, and where is it here? Hold on. Is... Where is this? Hold on. There we go. All right. Is those stats. So we're redoing the stats. And I'll just quickly show you here because this is a really big list. I just zoomed in so you guys could see it easier. Yeah, hang in there, Eileen. Hopefully this won't be a super long one, but we'll see. Okay, so we have quite a few heroes here. In fact, it's 30 new heroes. So we're already technically counting Talisa the Dragon Queen. She came in the first wave for people that got that with the Dragon Collection. So currently, I already consider her as part of that previous group. But everybody else after that, including the RPG, is in this list. So that is 61 total heroes. There is a lot of heroes. Bruisers. What is it? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bruisers. We have 7 brutes. I think it's 6 commanders. We have a lot of controllers. We have 9 controllers. We have 7 healers, 7 shooters, 4 special types, and that includes the ones from before. So you see like Haran the Shapeshifter, Faceless Emperor in there. We have 7 tacticians and 7 tanks. So a lot of those hero classes increasing, right? All the previous ones was 4. Commanders getting the most additions to their class, with basically more than doubling the amount of controllers that were available. Okay, so let's talk about the stats that I have here. So we have very much the same thing: offense, defense, mobility. We have 2 kind of newer ones here: healing. Healing was never actually defined. It was kind of just, I think, assumed into the effects category, which didn't feel quite fair, especially when you're comparing to, trying to compare a controller to a healer isn't exactly the same comparison. They need something else to kind of differentiate them. So we're going to include healing as a stat. So you'll see, once we get to the healer section, the lowest amount of healing one of the healers has, or a couple of the healers have, could be 3. This isn't a finalized list. It's me going through each hero, kind of evaluating it based on a criteria that I've come up with, and then trying to figure that out. But I'm going to continue to refine this list, so some of these numbers may change. And then we have utility and effects. So this is a bit of a mix. It includes things like interrupts or special abilities that maybe change kind of the gameplay of that character. It also does include things like conditions in there. So there's still quite a bit wrapped up into effects. It's kind of hard to break out everything without making the stats way, like having too many stats, right? Could be a problem for somebody that's trying to just look at this and figure out what they want. And then complexity. Basically, this is just the inverse of handling. So instead of saying, handling, which was the max amount, means it's the easiest, now we're going the other direction. The higher a number is, the more difficult it is to play that character, or complex to play that character, versus somebody that is much, much easier to play. So like I said, we're still refining these. There's plenty of chance that these could change here before we complete. So I plan to include those. We also will have this tag system, is what I'm calling it. Basically, so we haven't figured out all the graphic design for it. I'm going with something maybe a little different, so it's easier to compare all the heroes right next to each other. But the tags here will be things like multi-strike, or having an interrupt, or maybe a copy skill, or a steal, or a vibe. This kind of stuff will basically just be like, I'm going to mark it here as like an X or something for a character, and then when you see that character, it'll have that tag name, so that way you can quickly see like, oh, okay, well, Avalon, for example, the wizard, he has AoE effects, he can hit multiple targets. We're going to give him, the multi-strike tag to just indicate that he can attack multiple characters. It's much more common for that character to do that, versus somebody like Qatar, for example, who basically just attacks one person. And this will just kind of help you in ways to be able to build your team, get an idea real quick of what that character is capable of, and help you build teams quicker. The other aspect of this too is, while the original compendium had no information as to how these stats were, or at least the idea behind each stat, I'm going to include definitions, so that way you guys can know exactly what the idea is behind, healing and mobility and utility and effects. Anyway, so that is the idea for Heroes Compendium 2.0. Still got a ways to go on it, but really this initial evaluation is probably like, I'd say like 75% of the work, because it takes a long time to go through each character and try to evaluate them on a fair level, because you're going to be comparing between all the different heroes within that class. Oh, yeah, we have a question here. Where do I play this tabletop simulator mod? Well, I think if Wantuan is in here, he should be able to post it. I do have an announcement about that here in a couple minutes. One last thing I want to say about the Heroes Compendium is that I'm open to your guys' feedback. Tell me what you guys think would maybe help you, especially if you have played Arena the Contest. Let me know what kind of tips or tags or maybe definitions we should use to build this Compendium 2.0. So that way you guys can create teams quicker, especially when you're first starting the game. It's a lot, right? You're going to have 61 heroes to like look at and play, and trying to decide how, what kind of teams you're going to build and what things you're valuing in your team is going to be difficult. So I think this will be really important for everyone getting started once they receive the game. So anyway, that is it in terms of the Heroes Compendium. Let's move on to the next subject here. So we're going to go back to Tabletop Simulator. So a couple things is I am going to be revealing that so we're going to have some PvP exhibition matches probably in about maybe a month or so from now. And we're going to start building our skills. I've mentioned this in previous streams before, but I want to reiterate it again. We want to start building the skills again of the community, especially with all the new heroes. And for people that aren't aware, there already is 6 heroes from Tanares Adventures or Tanares RPG included. So we got like Sidura, the Blue Dragon Blade, is already added into the game. You could play her right now if you want. Same thing with Anariel, the Sword Mage, Nynx, the Succubus of Greed, Jessa, the Shepherd Redeemer, who is from the RPG, and Nero, the Pyromancer from Black Rose Wars, who's a crossover character in Tanares Adventures, and then Lana the Valkyrie, who is a new commander for Tanares Adventures. So those are already in the game, and you can play them now. Kind of start getting acquainted with those all the characters in here. And we are going to do a tournament. My plan right now is the tournament will probably be sometime after people start receiving their boxes. We kind of want people to be able to, of course, enjoy the massive campaign that Dragori has spent a lot of time working on. And at the same time, get people used to trying out all these different characters, seeing what things they like, what teams they like, which ones they maybe don't like as much, and then we'll go from there. So that may not be until maybe February or March, but it kind of depends on the timeline of when people are getting the boxes and when people are feeling comfortable. Okay, next up is November 5th, I will be doing Extra Life. So Extra Life is a charity that a lot of video games, board games, people from all different areas play games to raise money for children's hospitals. I did it last year. I'm going to be doing it again this year. And for this year, we are going to be playing the Tanares Adventures tutorial quest. We might do some PvP matches as well. But yeah, we'll be playing at least that first quest, maybe a second one, we'll see, because the first one is very much a tutorial. It's very simple to understand and get going. but we may get into another one so that way you can see a little bit more of the game. But I'll have more details as we get closer to November 5th for that. All right, so that is coming up. Next thing is starting today until probably about November 5th. I think it maybe goes into the week past that. We will be revealing 3 new heroes from all the products, RPG and Tanares Adventures, and they will be added to the Tabletop Simulator mod. So, starting pretty much now, I don't know if Wantuan is here right now, but once the stream is over, we will update the mod, and Herodis, the Fallen Titan, the Brute, will be added. Milani, the Elementalist, will be added, and Agnir the Beastmaster will be added to the game for you guys to check out, start playing, and with that, of course, is where'd it go? I think there it goes. Okay, so in this, well, this is mine. Maybe it's not included the other one, but I think basically you're just going to need the quick start guide anyway to play in PvP, but there is the quick start guide for Tanares Adventures, and the Tanares Adventures rulebook is also or should be in there as well. So if you have any other questions, especially like for playing the commanders, for example, you're going to need the rulebook to refer to, and yeah, here it is right here. So you can get into that and start playing. So Wantuan, the community mod creator, has done the work for you guys and gotten this all added. And so starting today, it's revealing the first 3. Every single week, we'll reveal 3 more heroes that are coming and being added to the mod, and then you'll be able to play with them. And then that should conclude about November 5th or so, and we'll have all the heroes in the game officially added to the mod. So we can spend some time here. Herodis, the Fallen Titan. He has the Zepho Strike, range 2, ignore all effects applied by enemies, 12 damage on hit, plus he deals plus 3 damage per effect or token applied by enemies on you and allies. So he gets a big damage buff there that basically you're looking at 18 damage without even counting brutality. Let me see if there was any other questions. Now, 2.0 will have every playable hero. Yes, the Heroes Compendium will have every playable hero. I'm even going to include those special heroes, which, by the way, the Haran, the Shapeshifter, the original one where you get to choose like his stats and everything, is definitely by far the most difficult one to try to assess, because his stats is a major contributor to what we're evaluating that character for. So that can vary widely depending on if you pick him as a shooter versus you pick him as a tank. Those are 2 completely different classes that would work completely different. So those are all included. All right, Shipwreck Blow, range 1 enemy, benefit of move 3, 10 damage per effect, deal 6 damage to another enemy in range 2 of you. So 16 damage there, pretty easy to get as long as you get in the right spot, and that benefit should definitely help you get there. For his specials, he's got a ranged AoE special, 13 damage per hit, giant form. The effect, you may run to one of the enemies hit. Basically, that means you can run in, you can move your character in a single direction and up to, I think it's 8 squares to that target. And then permanent, your primary attacks have a range of +1. So now all of these, we got range 3 on the Zepho Strike and a range 2 on the Shipwreck Blow. And deal 4 damage to another enemy and 2 of you on a hit. So this guy definitely a powerhouse. And Titanic Power, range 1 enemy, benefit move 6. So that is a huge move there. 13 damage plus the effect. Target takes extra damage equal to the attack's natural roll, which means, you know, most characters have a minimum of 6 defense. So that means at a minimum, you're going to do 19 damage without counting brutality. And then max amount of damage, you're doing 33 plus 5, so that's 38. So that is a massive amount, not counting brutality there. All right, Milani, the Air Elementalist, good character for movement type of effects. So she's got Storm Evocation, range 8, 11 damage, 1 target. Choose 1. When this effect ends, deal 5 damage to your closest enemy. At the start of each combatant's turn, you move 1 and remove all temporary effects applied on you. So you get to move a lot with that one if you choose that option B. Lightning Conduit, benefit 2 to your attack roll, 9 damage on hit. Choose 1. Blast 6. Blast means everybody that is adjacent to that target will take 6 damage. So it's a very good one, very lightning conduit if you get a lot of people around that character. Or move for the target, and then it must end within range 6 of you. All right, Elemental of Infusion, the special for her, range 8, 1 enemy, 20 damage per the effect. Permanent, you apply both effects when making the attack: Storm Invocation and Lightning Conduit. So instead of having to pick, now you get both. So that is a massive, massive benefit there, that permanent, because both of those effects are very strong. Next up, Winds of Punishment, range 8, 1 enemy, 16 damage plus 1 effect. Choose 1, deal 8 damage to 2 other enemies. Or permanent, target is bleeding 2. So basically, I might need to double check the rules. It's been a while since I've looked at it, but bleeding is basically you will take a specific amount. I think it's 2 damage per square that you move while you have that effect. So having it as a permanent is incredibly powerful. Basically, you can turn someone in that is going to move around in a lot to probably not moving very much at all, because if they do, they're going to take a lot of damage. And last up here, Agnir the Beastmaster. He is a commander. If you're not familiar with commanders, they do get a pet. So we do actually have those miniatures there, or at least the standee versions. He's got the beast here. We'll look at his hero pad first, and then we'll go back to the beast. So Primal Fury, range 8, 1 enemy, 9 damage, move for the beast, then it makes a basic attack. Its basic attack is 4 damage. Call of the Wild, range 8, 8 damage, apply on target. The next ally who hits it heals 6. So it's a good way to set up a heal there for somebody else, or maybe even your own beast there. They do have tied health, I believe, so it's a good way to get probably health even for yourself. Bestial Rage, range 8, 1 enemy, 6 damage, move for the beast, then it makes a basic attack that is a critical if it hits. So that's going to be a 9 damage right there. And then heal 18, a hero within 5 of the beast. So you get a pretty decent, good heal there, and 9 damage plus this one. So yeah, it's good split there of damage and healing. Giant Growth, range 8, 14 damage on hit. And the permanent, the beast is empowered. So it's just so you guys know, empowered is the same empowered it was before, but now they explicitly label 3, so that way it's easier to remember the number. If you played the game long enough, it was kind of easy to remember on its own, but anyway, this is what it is. So empowered 3, you get 3 more damage when you make a primary hit, basically. Actually, I think might have included basic attack. I forget now. I'll have to look. But you get some more damage when you make a hit. If Agnir dies, choose an ally. The beast becomes its companion while Agnir is dead. So that is actually really cool that you can give your companion or your pet to somebody else even if you die. I can't wait to see how this is going to be used in PvP. It's going to be some crazy shenanigans, especially I could easily see people wanting to steal this ability and use it, and the insanity that will probably ensue because of this. Okay, and by the way, the passive for commanders, because we don't usually talk about commanders a lot, is teamwork. They're triggered as the companion hits an enemy in 5 of you, the first hit of its prime action, and the companion target takes 2+ damage. The reason why it's a lot lower is because that companion is going to do 4 damage already, and then you get that 2 on top, so that's 6 damage. So that's actually quite a bit if you already set that up versus like the 4 that every other class has. So the beast is special. So each companion that the commanders have, they each have a different special ability. The beast is specifically that you forego your passive power until your next turn, and the beast can make one of its primary attacks instead of a basic attack. Yes, that's right. The beast has his own ability, Dire Claws, where he also does 4 damage, but he also now gets to deal +1 damage and move the target 2 spots, or he can heal 3. So give you a little bit option instead of your pet just running around doing damage, so you get a little more choice there. So that is Agnir the Beastmaster and the rest of these new heroes that are now added to the game. Hopefully, Wantuan, I don't know if you're in here. If you are, you can post the link. If not, if you go to Tabletop Simulator, go to the workshop and look for Arena the Contest Complete. That should be the Tabletop Simulator mod that you're looking for to be able to try these heroes out. So that'll be really soon. That'll be in there if it's not already. Okay. Then that's pretty much about what I have. So if you guys, like I said earlier, if you have any feedback, especially for the Heroes Compendium 2.0, please leave it in the comments, or let me know through Discord or wherever you feel comfortable doing that. But let me know about what you think of the Heroes Compendium, what maybe additional things we should have, what maybe you don't like. Any feedback you have will definitely make a better document for everyone. So let's definitely push that. I hope you guys liked this little quick preview here on these 3 brand new heroes. We got a lot more to go in the coming weeks, and I can't wait to start getting back into some PvP with everyone. At least until we can start ramping up some of the quest stuff, which we will be doing starting probably in about November on. We'll start going through some quests, help you guys kind of start learning the game, getting more comfortable with it, so it's not just like being thrown into it. And it will be available eventually in Tabletop Sim. Probably when we show it, we'll do the same kind of thing where we'll make it available to everyone. So at least that first one should be available November 5th, and then we'll keep going from there. And I hope to at least get 1 week of the campaign in Tabletop Simulator before any of the games arrive at somebody's house, so that way you can kind of start getting used to it now. So that's basically the demo stuff. We've been loading a lot of the components in there, and I was hoping that we could actually get started on this sooner, but unfortunately I was directed that we needed to wait a little bit longer on at least those campaign aspects. We're gonna come up with some good ways to try to teach the game as best as we can, so that way you guys don't feel overwhelmed by any of the new rules. because, you know, obviously we do have a big new rule book that could be quite intimidating for new players, and definitely don't want that to happen. So anyway, but we'll have these new heroes that we're slowly releasing, and we'll probably see more of those in the coming weeks here as we kind of get around to playing them and checking it out. All right, you guys have any other questions for me today? I will say that it's probably pretty likely, I'm hoping that the official update will be coming out today for Tanares RPG and Tanares Adventures. It may not be for at least a couple more hours. I'm not sure exactly the timing on it, but it has been already, like the update's already been composed. It's just kind of doing some editing and making a few changes here and there, and maybe adding some other pictures. So in terms of the update, that should be coming very soon, and we will definitely be moving to a much more consistent communication. I know it's been a frustration point for many people. I discussed this last week in Discord, and I think Alex and the others have realized that we really do need to, you know, get that corrected, and so we will definitely be improving our communication and having more consistent updates, and, you know, trying to go back. We should be going back to this 2-week schedule, and getting you guys more information as we move along. Any other questions you guys got? What are you guys up to this weekend? I know for me, I actually got getting the opportunity to play Alien RPG with some Discord members in a different server, and pretty excited to kind of check that out. I got that game recently, so I'm excited to see what it is, and who knows, maybe sometime that, you know, we're between some of these other things, you guys can see me set up a game and run that one at some point too. It's pretty cool. All right, looks like I came into it a bit late, but this looks interesting. I'll definitely need to look into this more. Hope you are well, man. Oh, thanks, Nate. I hope you are too. I hope you guys all have a really good weekend. Go play some games, get into Tabletop Simulator, try out these new heroes or any of these other heroes. We got so many heroes here, and there's a lot to play, a lot of different strategies that you can build. I'm super excited to kind of get back into doing some PvP and get back to the community, and not so much just, you know, just doing updates or just talking about production all the time. So, okay, guys. Well, that is it for tonight for me. So, appreciate your support. Thank you very much. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share it to any friends, family members. You know, I try to do more than just Arena sometimes. You know, every once in a while play some other games, but, you know, we'll kind of see how that's going. But definitely a great place for Arena, the contest, and Tanares Adventures content. But that is it for tonight. We'll see you at the next one. Thanks, everyone.